Well, hey folks, this is Greg Long with Timber River Adventures, and today we're going to take you on a little trip up to Kentucky. I tagged out early at Timber River this year, 2 nice deer, and Dan said, well, let's head to Kentucky and hit my farm up there and hunt some bean fields. So who could pass down such an offer? Got up on Thursday night late. Friday morning we got up and it was cold, folks. It was 28. Air was crisp, it was clear, and the deer were moving. Hadn't been in the stand good. Out pops a spike. He feeds along with the beans, milling around, munching a little. And then he takes notice. Well, as he moves along up the side, he's pilling and he's listening, and then he notices something. Well, out pops this nice 2-year-old 7. He's big, he's got a good body, but he's a young buck and just exactly the kind of thing you want to let grow another year or two. So I watched him as he came across the field, fed a little bit, decided to mark a little bit, then he came to investigate his buddy. Well, that afternoon I changed locations, moved around to a stand that was on the upper end of a long L-shaped bean field. Perfect setup. Field was about 75 yards wide and about 400 yards long. Any deer that came through there had to cross, and I saw a lot of deer. I was watching this doe that afternoon. She was piddling around, feeding a little bit. Then she starts noticing something. Well, you know me, I'm a little slow to catch on sometimes. So I'm still sitting here watching her. And then it starts to dawn on me, maybe I should look down the other end of the field. And when I do, there's a monster going across the field and I don't have time to sweep the camera. Unfortunately, all I'm going to get is the last 2 steps of him going out and a glimpse of horns. Folks, he was a whopper. Well, folks, the next morning I decided to get back in the stand I'd been in Friday afternoon scouting, and deer were crossing the field left and right. I'm watching a buck cross this field this morning, and I'm too busy getting the binoculars on him when I notice he gets out and there's 6 more in the back of the field coming down the edge. Bucks chasing does, 400 plus yards away, a little too far from me, but I'll have my chance. A few minutes later, this nice buck comes out, walks down the edge of the field, decides to go over, give me a good demonstration of how to rub a limb and do a little marking of the territory. Watched him a while till he put him back in the woods. He'll be a good deer in 2 or 3 years. Still needs time to grow. Well, Sunday morning comes out bright, crisp, cold, and clear, folks. It's about 26 again. There's a heavy frost, and I climb back in my stand before daylight. Sun hadn't even broken the trees good. Deer had been crossing the field left and right. This little buttonhead decides to walk in on me and check me out. Well, I'm distracted by him for a moment or two, and I'm watching him and taking a little bit of video. You know, the camera's set up, and it's not long. I look up, and there's something else coming across the field. I'm not thinking about moving cameras. At that point, I'm thinking about getting binoculars on this thing that's out of the view, figuring out whether he's worth shooting, and then seeing if I can get a gun on him. Well, just a minute, you're going to get to see what I saw.
All right, there we go.
Hey folks, here we are, we're in Kentucky. It's the opening weekend of gun season. It's my first trip out of state this year. Bruisers are running these bean fields like crazy. Dan's got a big 9, 10, son got a 9. This morning it was my turn. This is Timber River Adventures at its best. Give us a call and let's put you on one of those big bucks.
Go.
Well, hey folks, here we are in Kentucky. Came up for the opening weekend. Hunting up here is unbelievable, unbelievable. 3 big world-class bucks in 2 days. They're running everywhere. We've seen dozens. Come join us on a Timber River adventure and see if we can't help you bag that big buck.